Did you ever notice that you get in shape to fall out of shape, to get back in shape, to fall out of shape? And this process goes on for months, years, and sometimes a decade for most of you people, or for most of us, I should say. And why is that? Well, today on First Light, we're just gonna talk about a few reasons why many of us get stuck with fat loss, why we don't achieve our goals, and what we could do to move forward, man, and get to the person that we really want to be, because we want to be our healthiest self. That doesn't always mean our skinniest, right? But we definitely want to be mobile, we want to be capable, and we want to be healthy. So throughout coaching clients, throughout my own life experiences, what I've seen is there's a couple reasons why we don't lose the fat. So number one main reason, guys, is that we rely on motivation. We rely on motivation. And guys, I know you've heard this 1,000 times, but motivation comes and goes. So you may be motivated today to go to the gym, and that motivation might stick around for 3 more days, but it eventually fades because we get used to doing something, and especially if it's a little bit hard, it becomes difficult. It becomes difficult for you to want to step up to that challenge every day because it's challenging at the end of the day, right? So we have to build habits, right, that we can sustain consistently so that we don't need motivation. So a lot of you guys will see me walking out here early in the morning. It is a habit for me. It had to become a habit, right? But I didn't establish it by saying I'm going to walk 365 days this year. I just said I'm going to walk tomorrow. And then the next day I said I'm just going to walk tomorrow. I didn't need to be super motivated to go outside and walk already because it's not that hard to do, right? I didn't set a goal to it. I didn't say I got to walk for an hour. I didn't say I have to do jumping jacks in the middle. It has to be 3 miles. Nope, I'm just going to walk. So eventually it became a habit of mine, and now obviously it feels a little bit funny if I don't walk, right? And so that's something I could stay with consistently, and I don't need motivation to do it. And you know, obviously I've been walking since I was a year old, right? Also, one of the main reasons why we stay stuck with fat loss and we don't get to where we want to be is we underestimate our calorie consumption. We underestimate our calorie consumption. So we have liquid calories, and that's probably the worst enemy of them all, man, because the Gatorades, the iced coffees, the sodas, the fruit punches, we all love them. And when I say we all love them, I mean we all love them, right? But most of the time they contain high amounts of sugar, high amounts of fructose, and just a ton of extra calories that really are not nutrient dense. So we're not walking away with good healthy carbs, good healthy fats, fiber. It's just empty calories. So we have the sugary sweet drinks, and then if we consume them during the week, but then overconsume on the weekend, and that adds to our calorie consumption on the weekend. So we have, you guys know, the events, the parties, the cookouts, just the lazy days at home, the movie nights, right? They normally occur on the weekends. So combine that with your sugary drinks, and if you have some sugary drinks on the weekend, you might have been in a deficit from Monday to Thursday. But between Friday and Sunday night, Sunday night, guys, that's 2.5 days. You can balance out that calorie deficit, and now you're not at a deficit. You're more like maintenance. And then we have poor planning with our meals, right? So that leads to over consuming calories, right? So let's just say we're going out to eat, and guys, these days it's a digital era. Just about every restaurant has a menu online. So we get there and we want to decide what we're going to eat when we get there, instead of looking up the food, actually putting it into one of our apps or putting it in chat to see what the protein content is, what the carb content is, how many calories it is. So instead of that, we end up over consuming. Now, number three, guys, number three, and I've seen this be the biggest problem with myself. I've seen this be the biggest problem with family, friends, and clients. We quit too early. We quit too early. We normally have a goal of, oh, I want to lose a certain amount by a certain date. If I got $1 for every time I've heard that, guys, I would be a billionaire. I promise you that. I've done it myself. When we don't get to that goal by that event, when we don't get to that milestone in the time frame that we think we should, if the only measuring stick is the scale, we give up. We give up. Not realizing that if you're 35, if you're 40, if you're 45, you may be on the earth for another 50 plus years. Why does it matter when you get to your goal? Why does it matter? Because the time that it's taking you to get to the goal. So let's just say you said in a year, I want to lose 50 pounds, right? And that year comes, you only lose 40. Well, the next year, even if you were at your goal, you still have to exercise. You still have to work out. You still have to eat correctly. You still have to drink your water. You still have to get your rest. It doesn't really stop. So by quitting early, what we're doing is saying that next year, even though I made a lot of progress in the first year, I'm going to go back to my unhealthy ways and then have to start back over instead of just staying the course. So maybe you stay at the 40 pounds of fat loss for 6 months and maybe you're stagnant. But at some point, your body catches up and you end up losing that 10. Not to mention the body recomposition that happens. Not to mention the habit stacking that goes on with you. Not to mention the self-security that increases. Not to mention the better relationships that come out of you being your healthiest self. So we can't quit too easy. We can't quit too early. You will get there. And on the way to getting there, you're becoming a better version. You don't automatically become this great person once you lose 50 pounds. You start becoming better when you lose that first pound. So let's pick one habit today that we can establish, that we can establish and stay consistent with for a week, for a month. Guys, that might just be doing 10 push-ups. That might be doing 10 squats after lunch. That might be making a positive phone call to someone to help bring your cortisol down every day. Because we are some of our habits. If we look back at how unhealthy we were in the past, guaranteed we could talk about all the habits that poured into us being unhealthy. We got to make a change. This is your time to change what you've always done and make a different outcome. This is your guy, Coach Mark. This is First Light.